All right, for my idea for sketching, I want to look at some of the references I have. I have this guy. I have this environment. Right? The Skeletor kind of environment, or the He-Man environment. I have my emoji from exercise 2. And let's see, the most finished one was the one with the shadows. So this one, right? And I want it to end with this head floating on this background laughing. As informed by this meme that's used for lots of things. Of course, I totally spelled it wrong. Gotta go to Tools, gotta go to Type, gotta go to GIFs. So that kind of thing. All right. So I kind of know what I want, but this is why the sketch is so important. Because how do I go from this guy to my emoji doing this? So to sketch it out, I'm going to pull this off to the side. And I'm just going to sketch it digitally so you can see. So I'm going to do a new file. You can just do it on a piece of paper. I'm going to make it just really standard 8 by 10 by 350. And I'm going to call it Karl Assignment 3. Because we are going to turn in your sketch. Storyboard Skeletor. All right, now I'm going to take this, nest it into the main frame here, and I'm just going to use a regular brush. It's about 65%. It's a pressure-sensitive brush. I'm using a tablet. The hardness is at 100%. I might soften that just a little bit, and I'm just going to draw 9 squares. So 1 with space between them. 2. It's okay if they're really messy. 3. 4, 5, 6. This is your planning sketch. 7, 8, 9. The top 3 are the beginning of your story. The middle 3 are the middle of your story, and the bottom 3 are the end. You can think of this as setup, payoff, and consequences. That's one way to think of it, right? In a kind of a classic story structure. So why do I use this? First, I'm going to introduce, INT. I like the gutters to make little notes. Introduce my character, which is going to be this guy, and my setting. So I'm already going to have a setting established. So think of the character and the place. And the setting can just be blank white. And then how am I going to introduce him? He's going to come from this direction. So arrows are a big deal in storyboards, right? Like where do you want the focus to go? Where do you want the movement to lead? So here's my guy. I'm just going to do him as a stick figure. I don't know if I'll do him head to toe. I might kind of go from the shoulders up, right? It's because I want to focus more on this big head. So that's why we do it in a sketch, and we can be pretty loose about it. So I'm going to do the guy. There's his head. And then his shoulders. And then he's already in the setting, so I'll show it with like that, right? And he's coming in this direction. Big arrows this way. Now what's going to happen? Let's see. I know I'm going to end with my emoji facing forward, floating, and laughing. Ha 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 ha. Floating emoji Skeletor. And then I'll probably have this fade out, just reveal the background so the character can enter again. That's called setting to reset. So how do I make that transformation happen? So I'm going to have him just kind of look around, maybe face forward. And so that's why I like the notes. I'm getting an idea now. And I'm going to try to use every asset I've created so far. You only need one, but I'm just going to rely on some of the stuff I've already made. And each time I work with him, he's going to get a little bit more disheveled, right? So this hair is going to mess up a little bit. And then we're going to have, let's see. That's why I like digital sketching. I can just take this chunk. I'm going to move this moment over here. I think I want him to have a little scare before he turns. So basically you have introductions and then you have actions. So here we're going to zoom in on him a little bit and he's going to get scared, looking to the side. Maybe it's just going to be like an environmental flash, like lightning or something. And then he turns to the side looking worried. Okay, now we're going to start to get the payoff, right? That's the setup. Guy in a strange place, this guy, this place, freaks him out. I want my creature to appear somehow. So maybe he gets scared by my creature. No, I think I'll have him looking forward. Then I'm going to have the creature kind of in the background, sneaking up on him. This will be a misdirect. And he's looking more and more scared, more disheveled. So this is introduce a new character. So I'm going to say character X, which is my creature coming in from this side. And then he's going to start getting angry. And we're going to zoom in on him. I don't think I want to actually animate that he shouts something at the creature. But he's going to kind of stand up for himself. And he's going to get all huffed and angrier. And his face is going to start to melt. So that's the big kind of payoff. And then we get the consequences. So we're going to get more and more effects here. I can use my cartoon jumble as kind of a textural effect, which is based on He-Man anyway, right? And the face is going to melt. And it will reveal the Skeletor emoji, or at least the yellow floating skull. And it might be fun to make that little laughing skull. And then the hood will appear. So it's like an up and down, kind of laughing, and then it will set to reset. Okay. So that's my story. Obviously, a transformation is one of the character, and I'm just playing with a few environmental factors, but by the end, it will be mostly filled up with just kind of big effects that build strongly here and then start to dissipate here. So lots of builds. Can it be told just with these panels? Yes. That makes sense. But is there going to be times where it's more interesting to spend more time, more frames? Yes. Very clearly. So it doesn't just jump from him being there to being scared to looking worried to a creature like kind of creeping in. All right. So I've got my sketch. I'm going to save that. File, save as, a copy. I'll make it a JPEG. I can even just do a screen grab of it. Save it to the desktop. Now that I've got my sketch, I'm going to start setting up my first 3 frames. So, this is how it works. I am going to use the asset that I have already made. So that's going to be assignment 1. I'm going to use the JPEG from assignment 1. And start with just the beginning of my keyframes. So let me open up my keyframes just in preview, just so I can look at it just like it was a sketchbook page, open on my desk, which is what you guys could do. Okay, I've got this guy. He's already open in Photoshop, but I've got to open up my landscape. And if I want to, I can go right to my PSD. So for those of you thinking of using your landscape in your animation, what's the advantage of using your PSD file for it? Well, it has all of those different layers, right? The foreground, the middle ground, the background. So now I'm going to throw this guy into that. So let's do it. I open it up. I saved him in assignment 3 in my assets. He's this one. My full figure cartoon. Remember, smart objects, when you drag and drop them in, they'll always be at their native resolution. And since this is a vector, its native resolution can be anything, right? But you see how he's behind some things? So that's going to make it really pretty believable. So I'm going to push him up above everything. And now, because it needs to be a square format, I'm going to use my crop tool. And we haven't done this before, but it's very helpful with the crop tool. It's how most people use it. Instead of just eyeballing it, I'm going to put in a ratio at the top. And a ratio for a square is a 1:1 ratio. Make sense? And then, no matter where I put it, it's going to show it in a square. So do I want it there? Do I want to pan the camera while he moves? That could work. So I'm going to start maybe around here. But the problem with panning moves is then I would have to kind of track the movement with each frame. It takes a lot of planning. You can do it, but it makes setting to reset at the beginning a lot harder, right? Because if I end my story and Skeletor is laughing here, how do I get it back to here right away without it seeming out of place? So better just to find a good square framing of it that I like. And I think that works. So I hit return, I crop it. Now, I'm going to save this as a new file name. Because right now I have a lot of layers already because it was assignment 1. Just like I cleaned it up for my proving ground, I can also clean it up here. Like erase all these things that aren't showing. All right. And then I have my smart object, which can't be cropped because it's a smart object. So that might be one position of that character, but I can duplicate him. And eventually I want him to be like here, and then like here. And that's where he's going to have his reaction. So then how can I get him to react? I can rasterize him. And then I can say edit puppet warp. And I'm going to have him